Working in the pulp mill in Campbell River, on call 24 hours a day, I had chronic exhaustion. I would get home after working from 4 in the morning till about 6 in the evening and have a quick shower and then crash to sleep for a couple of hours till I'd get called again. One evening, I dreamt a live living type of a dream that I was riding with my dad in his pickup. I could see that he was sitting there driving, looking straight ahead. It was real foggy outside. You couldn't even see the hood ornament on the truck. All of a sudden, I was out in front of the truck, hanging there in midair over a washout in the road. It was a real deep gorge down to the river. I was waving for all I was worth, hollering, "Stop, Dad, stop, stop, stop," over and over again as loud as I could. Finally, Dad came to a stop. He rolled down his window, then opened the door and got out. The front end of the truck was over pavement that was hanging with no gravel or roadbed under it. Dad walked around to the front of the truck, and the pavement broke and fell down the slide into the river, boiling below. Dad grabbed the bumper and hung on. He hung there for some time, shaking his head, with disbelief, stunned by the whole turn of events. Then, inch by inch, he moved his hands one and then the other until he was at the corner of the truck. Quickly, with one swift move, he swung his right leg up onto the pavement and rolled back onto the road. He lay there for a while, breathing heavily. Remember, this was a 76-year-old man. Luckily, the truck itself still had the wheels on the pavement that had gravel under it. It might have broken away and dived right into the river. After slowly getting up, Dad went and got his flares out. He'd carried them for years. After working for the Department of Highways, they always had to be prepared to find anything wrong with the road. With his flashlight, he went back past the corner and he stuck a flare on either side of the road and lit them. They put out an eerie orange glow in the fog. Not too soon, I could hear a car coming quite fast. Walking ahead of the flares, he flagged his flashlight at the oncoming car. When the car driver saw him and the flares almost at the same time, he jammed his brakes and slid to a stop. Dad told him, "Put on your hazard lights and honk your horn when you hear anyone else coming. There's a washout up ahead." Now he went back into the truck and got two other flares, and using his flashlight to see the edge of the washout, he inched his way around the missing pavement and walked across the bridge. He drove the flares into the ground on either side of the pavement and lit them. As he made his way back to the pickup, he could hear the horn honking, so he walked right back to the car to explain what was wrong. Two more cars had stopped behind the first. As Dad explained, a police car drove up. A black lady police officer got out. Dad asked her to call the Department of Highways to come and fill the washout or make a temporary road around it. After the policewoman had everything under control, Dad went back to his truck and backed up and then drove into the opposite ditch, around the washout, across the bridge, then towards home. I left him then. I woke up in Campbell River, my sheets soaked from sweating. I would have fevered, then chills as I slept. I looked at the time, 9:45. I decided to give him a half hour to get home, since I knew which bridge it was. When I called his number on the phone, it rang about 5 times and then he answered. He was still puffing from running in when he heard the phone ring. He also was pretty burned out from the excitement. "Hello," he said in a small voice. "Dad," I said, "don't tell me what just happened. I'll tell you." I continued to tell him about my dream. He said, "Son, you are a nigget. What surprised me is that you also knew about the black policewoman. Something stopped me. I thought there was just too much fog, and when I had a bad hunch on my left arm, that must have been you touching me. I rolled down the window and heard water gurgling. That's why I got out to find out where it was running. Dad, could you refresh my memory for me? I have a vague idea of what a nigget is, but I'm not really sure. It's an Indian ghost walker, son. You may have played a role not only in saving my life, but the lives in all the other cars that would have followed me into the river. It always takes the Department of Highways a few days before they can get to authorization, funding, and the ambition to do a road repair. The next day, some of Dad's friends they checked the depth of the water in the hole. They used a round lead ball on the end of a long rope. The river was 60 feet deep at the bottom of the slide.